Hello everyone, welcome to another Creative Crafts Niche video. Today I'm sharing with you another do-it-yourself pattern paper project. The products that I'm using today are the StazOn Jet Black ink, this to that permanent reliable dot tape runner, my tweezer bees, my Hawk's precision scissors, my foam squares. I'm also going to be using my glossy accents, my desert sand memento dual marker, the rubbered stalk memento dual marker, the periwinkle aqua marker, the rose blush aqua marker, my white gel pen, so if I make mistakes I can be able to correct them, and this is the Jelly Roll 08. And I'm also going to be using my Woof stamp set by Recollections. I'm also going to be using my 2" by 2 1/4" small block by Recollections, as well as my 3 3/4 by 2 1/4 medium block by Recollections. And I'm also going to be using my Fisker stamp press, which the measurements for here, the center is 3 by 5 inches. So I went ahead and I positioned all my stamps the way I wanted them, so that when I go ahead and press down on my paper here, they're pretty much where I want them to be, as well as it gives me a quick starting point rather than randomly one by one going and stamping around the page. I can just do all these in one shot, and then I can go ahead and randomly stamp down on the page. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up really good. And these are pretty stained already because I've used them so many times already for this project, so that I can be able to share this project with you as quickly as possible. So we're going to go ahead and press down on this. Make sure that we get those nicely pressed down. And I'm going to lift up, and then we'll have our starting point. So then what we're going to do is we're going to move this aside and kind of stamp off any excess ink that this may have, which in this case it didn't have any. So we're going to bring this back in, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our 2 by 2 1/4" stamp block, and we're going to go ahead and start grabbing one of those stamps one by one and randomly stamping around the page. This is so that we can get a focal point. So I'm going to go ahead and start stamping. Okay, and then basically, as I'm done with that stamp, I'm going to go ahead and stamp them off so that I can clean them off a bit, because I have a lot of stamping to do. So for the concept of time, I've gone ahead and I've finished stamping on my page. As you can see here, I'm going to set this page aside and bring in a clean one. So that's how my page looks, and I'm going to, for the bones, I'm going to use this dual marker, the Desert Sand, and I'm going to color them in. Okay, so I'm going to color all the bones that color. Then I'm going to color the dog bowls using my periwinkle blue. And what I'm doing for this, because the blue that it gives me is a very light blue, and because these are water markers, it kind of gives me a stain when I lift up the pen. I kind of want to hide that, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over it twice. And what you want to do is, before you go over it a second time, you want to go and do the other bowls, then come back to it last. And then the centerpiece here, I will go over that 2 more times. So that'll be a total of 3, because I wanted that little piece to be a darker color. Then lastly, for the fire hydrant here, we're going to go ahead and color that using the rhubarb stalk. And I'm just going to color in this one so that you can see the color red, how it comes out. Okay, so basically when I'm done with that, coloring everything in those colors, I'm going to end up with a piece that looks like this. So this will be dry and ready for me to go ahead and use my glossy accents. So I'm going to use my glossy accents just on the hold on, I'm trying to find a needle here. Okay, I'm just going to use my glossy accents on the fire hydrant, on the bones, and on the little center pieces of the bowls, because I kind of want to make it look like he has water, that there's water in there. And what I do is I outline it, and then once I outline it, I kind of go back and mix it up a bit and fill it in. Now, if I come across where I get like little bubbles, what I do is I can pop them just like that. I think I have one stubborn here. And if I kind of go a little off, what I do is with that same needle, what I'll do is I kind of pick it up just like that and clean it off on my finger. And then lastly, we're gonna go ahead and put some glossy accents on the fire hydrants as well. And this technique does warp the paper a bit, so when you are using your glossy accents, try not to use so much. Try to kind of, use it sparingly and spread it as much as you can. And so when you're done putting glossy accents on all the bones, on all the fire hydrants, and on all the bowls, then when you're done with that, you'll have something that looks like this. And I hope you can see all that glossy stuff. And I noticed that I missed a little one here, but I purposely did that because what I'm going to use to cover this up is going to hide it. So basically there's no need for me to put some glossy accents on that one. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with stamping my dog. So I'm going to bring in a piece of cardstock here, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp him up. Ink him up. Let me do it this way. Okay, And I'm going to stamp him down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set that aside to dry a bit, because though it stays on ink and it dries up pretty quickly, I don't want to run the risk of any smearing while I'm coloring. Okay, so for him, what I'm going to use is the desert sand for his nose. And then these colors, when they dry up, they tend to be lighter than what they appear when you first color them. And then I'm going to color his collar here using the periwinkle blue. And then I'm going to kind of go over it just one more time, because it's, like I said, when they dry up, it dries up a little bit lighter. Okay, and then I'm going to use my rose blush to color him in. And I'm not one to color perfectly, because I'm not into coloring a lot. So that looks like that. And then after I'm done coloring him completely, I'm gonna go ahead and color him in one more time, because like I said, these are watercolors and they kind of give the image a look of, you know, when you release that pen, that marker, you know, it gives it that stain. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I do with my templates. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll align this around him just like that, and then let me see if I can bring him down just a bit. Okay, right there. And then what I'll do is with my pencil, I'll lightly outline him, and then when I go to fussy cut him out, I already have a guide as to where I'm going to be cutting him out. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there, because I have one already finished and he looks just like that. And then this is where I'll come in and I'll bring in my scissors, and I'll just fussy cut along that line, and then whatever's left over, basically what you would do is you would use your eraser to erase whatever pencil marks are left behind. Or what you can do is you can fussy cut it using the template first and then stamp it, because when you fussy cut it, you can, when you outline it with your template, you can do it backwards, so that all your pencil marks will be in the back and you don't have to worry about erasing, and then you can go ahead and stamp. The one thing about that is that if you stamped it wrong, then the time you've wasted fussy cutting, it'll be in vain, because then you have to do it all over again. So it's basically up to you, your preference as to how you want to get it done. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside, because I already have one already cut out, and he looks just like that. And then what I did was, on a black piece of cardstock, I also did another template, but with this template I did it a tad bit bigger, so if you notice, this is a little bit bigger than that. And so I went ahead and I outlined it on here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start fussy cutting that out. Okay, and then you just follow along. Okay, and then when you're done, you're basically going to end up with a piece just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my tape runner here. See, what I had did previously was I put a little bit of tape there, just a tad bit, and I had lined it up actually here like that, and then I was able to do my template just like that. And so basically now I have that cut out. Now what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and put some tape on him. Okay, and then I'll layer him onto here. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring back my glossy accents, and I'm going to put some glossy accents on his nose. And then I'm going to put some glossy accents on his collar and his tag. Okay, and then I'm going to try and put like a little dot on where his eyes are at to kind of make his eyes stand out a bit. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and set that aside as well. And then when we're done, it's going to look just like that. And he does have just a tad bit of glossy accents on his eyes. Then for him, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pop him up on some foam squares. And these foam squares are from American Crafts. Okay. Then I went ahead and cut out these two strips here, and they measure 5 1/4 by 3/4, and then this one measures 5 1/4 by 1/2 inch. And what I'm going to do is with this same piece here, because I am going to be hiding part of it, I'm going to use my Recollections heart punch here, and I'm going to cut out a heart just like that. And I'm not going to worry about that, like I said, because it's going to be hidden. And this, I'm going to need this later on, so I'm going to set this aside. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some tape runner on here. Okay, and then I'm going to line this up here, try to line it up at the very center. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my white gel pen, and I'm going to faux stitch this. Okay, and what I like to do is kind of do both sides at the same time so that they can kind of be parallel. And don't worry if it's not perfect. Remember, you're crafting. This is handmade. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be handmade and as close to perfect as possible. So basically you're going to keep doing that, and when you're done you're going to end up with a piece like this. On this piece, of course, I did not do the heart, and I actually cut it a bit short. If you notice right here, there's like a line that splits down the middle, but that's okay because that's going to be hidden. And I'm going to go ahead and set this aside as well. I'm going to use that for later. Okay, so now we're going to bring in these two pieces, and this piece measures 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, and this piece measures 1 1/8 by 2 1/4. But the original one that I did is going to be a bit bigger. I just so happen to have this here. You know, it ended up being scraps that I was able to use. And so I'm going to be using my Bare Necessities stamp set from Scrappy Moms, and I'm going to be using the Have a Growling Good Time, and that's going to go down just like that. So it does fit nice and perfect. Okay, and I'm gonna ink this up using my my StazOn. Okay. I'm trying to get this as straight as possible. Okay, so that looks like that. And then I'm going to bring in another tool that I forgot to mention in the beginning. And this is my Chiva corner punch. And I'm going to go ahead and just round out just 2 of the corners. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same to this one. Just 2 of the corners. Okay. Then I'm going to layer this on that using my tape runner here. Just like that. And then remember my little heart that I had mentioned earlier? We're going to go ahead and use this, and I'm going to go ahead and use my glossy accents to glue this down. Okay, I'm just going to put a little dot right there, and then I'm just going to position this right there just like that. Okay, and then if you want, you can go ahead and add some little bit of glossy accents on that, on top of the heart, to kind of make it stand out as well. And then we're going to go ahead and mount some foam squares on here. Okay. Alright. And so when we're done, we're going to position this just like that. And so like I said before, it's going to cover that. So we don't have to worry about that little piece showing through. Alright, so let's see, I have my things right here. Okay, this is the longer piece, which I actually like it better because this one is kind of how do you say it? Feels like it's bunched up. And so this actually measures, the black piece measures 2 5/8 by 1 1/8, and the white piece measures 2 1/2 by 1. Okay, so we have those pieces there. Then we have this. Let's see what else we need. Okay. So basically this is going to go over here like I mentioned. See how this covers that other bone there that I did not put glossy accents on? So we're going to put this just like that. This is going to go here just like that. And then our little dog is going to go here just like that. And so I did have, okay, here we go. So this piece measures 4 by 5 1/4, and then this piece measures let's see, I think it's, I'll tell you right now, this measures 5 3/8 by 4 1/4. Let me see, no, that's not 4 1/4, sorry, that's by 4 1/8. Okay, so as you notice here, I did cut out a piece of black cardstock, which is the cardstock that I use for the base here. And then our cardstock measures 5.5 by 4.25, but lengthwise is 4.25 by 11. So you just score it down the middle at 5.5, and then we're gonna position this here just like that, and then we're gonna position this here over there. And so basically that's gonna be our card. Now I am not going to be decorating the inside of the card because I want to be able to use this card for any occasion. Like, I know it says have a growling good time, but that can be like if, you know, someone's going on a vacation and you want them to have a good time, or if someone's going to start school and you want them to have a good time. So basically, you know, it could be for many things. And I'm using a lot of tape here because I really am not fond of that tape runner. But for the purposes of this video, I am using it because I don't want to pull out my ATG gun because it looks bulky when I'm doing the videos. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and layer this down on there, and so this is just going to give me 1/8 of an inch border around. Okay, and then I'm going to position this right here. You know, I thought if I broke down the video the way I did, where a lot of the stuff was already done, I would be done with this video faster, but it did not work out that way. So I'm going to, and my hands are kind of shaky today, so let me see. Okay, so that looks straight there. Then I'm going to go ahead and position this down in the front. And I have not been doing giveaways lately, but I have been working on my craft room, the Cricut craft room, and I have been designing some die cuts using the free cartridge that we get. It's called Cricut Craft Room Basics, and so I've been designing some stuff using that. And what I'm going to be doing is every month I'm going to give to those who have been following me and, you know, commenting on my videos. I'm going to give them a free cut, a free design via email, so that they can go ahead and cut them out on their own. And so basically the ones who have commented the most will be the ones to get it. So basically it'll be like first, second, and third. I'll go ahead and give them that. So this is the front of my card, and like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this empty for now because I can be able to use this later on. And so it says have a growling good time. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your comments and you viewing my videos and following me. So you have a blessed day. Bye.